Alright, well.
Hi.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Caitlin is Sick.
What? You sound fine.
One of my students told me I sound like Darth Vader.
Okay, it's not that bad.
Let's hope not.
I promise. I would tell you.
Thank you.
I do think you should have tea, though.
Apparently, I don't know how to make it, so...
According to British people?
According to British people, I don't know how to make proper tea.
Well, apparently neither do I. But I like my tea with honey, and that's it. Apparently that's not right. Coffee's good, too.
What's new with you, James?
Got a job. I don't know if I...
You did? I think...
I already said that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did my job training. My online training. And tomorrow I do my in-person training, so...
Yay!
Yeah!
Bowie says yay!
Exactly. Thank you. And how are you, Kate?
I'm okay.
And how are you, Bowie?
Being sick is kicking my ass a little bit.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Well, you know what? You need to get better, because what are we doing this weekend?
Oh, we're going to Comic-Con.
We're going to Comic-Con! My first ever Comic-Con. I'm so excited.
Jamie, you guys have no idea how excited Jamie is.
I've been telling everybody.
Mm-hmm. The last time I went to Comic-Con, I met the lovely man who plays Neville Longbottom.
It's true.
So sweet. Just an angel.
If you guys are at Comic-Con on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, come see us. We're wandering around. Just start screaming our names.
It's true.
Actually, if you do that, I would probably poop my pants.
Good to know. Please don't do that, because I'm going to have to deal with it. I'm Kate.
And I'm Jane, and this is Creeps and Coffee.
A show where we talk about the dark parts of the world around us.
Cryptids, conspiracies, things that go bump in the night.
And the crimes behind the scariest creatures of all, humans.
Join us as we take a look at the stories sure to give you the creeps.
Pull up a seat, grab a coffee,
and let's have a chat. So,
what are we talking about this week?
Something that I feel like is kind of unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
So originally I started doing research on something called Project Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
However, I quickly discovered there's also something else called Operation Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
Both American, both
surprise.
Old, both CIA. So Caitlin's going to talk about that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. But I guess I'm going to talk about Project Mockingbird. Project Mockingbird, not Operation.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I feel proud that this didn't end up as another smiley face versus happy face murder situation.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing my research, it showed me 2 different Wikipedia pages. And I was like, why would there be 2? Oh, they're different.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker.
I wish I had that insight.
Yeah. It's okay. So this one, very interesting. I actually found the released declassified CIA papers on this operation. So if you want to find those yourself, you just got to look that up. It's about 45 pages long. I read all of it. It's really interesting though, because you can tell it's legit because there's a lot of stuff like blacked out. And I'm like, ooh, I feel like a spy.
The only time I've ever actually seen stuff like that is in the Strangerville mystery.
Yeah, it's like, anyway, so Project Mockingbird was a wiretapping operation initiated by John F. Kennedy. As you know, as you may not know actually, most of our listeners aren't American.
Not Canadian either.
Yeah, true. He was a United States president. Yes, both. So this wiretapping operation was to identify sources of government leaks. And they eavesdropped on communications of journalists. Mm-hmm. Kind of illegal, kind of sketchy.
From the U.S. government?
No. Never. It's a bit unsettling to be like, oh yeah, journalists could have tapped phones and stuff. They've done it before.
And I'm sure they'll do it again.
They may already do it, we just don't know. We'll find out in 20 years when they release unclassified documents.
Fair enough.
So yeah, phone tapping and wiretapping, trying to not scream and read quickly like I'm doing a presentation in high school. Mm-hmm. So sorry if I seem slow. I'm trying not to ruin the experience.
No, I love it.
Yeah, so Just a little warning, Mockingbird was not successful. Don't know why, but during
That's what they want us to think.
It's a possibility. I don't know. During its 3 months of operation, they couldn't identify all of the sources, I believe, that they were looking for. Like, they couldn't get proof of it. However, one of the main concerns was that one of the unidentified people, who I will let you know, they don't release anyone's names. They say identity 1, 2, 3, etc. One of them appeared to be in the Office of National Estimates.
That sounds important.
They say this because there was a blind memo regarding him, including references to written comments on certain national estimates and statements.
Okay.
And all of this was shown to the Director of Security, Mr. Kent. And Mr. Kent was not aware of Mockingbird. It was a very... You don't think so?
I'm going to call bullshit on that right now.
They say he wasn't the Director of Security.
That's such... I don't understand. I'm going to go off on a tangent here.
Okay.
I don't understand how these people who are higher ups in things like the Office of National Security, in the CIA, in any branch of like high level government, and they're like, oh no, I had no idea what was going on. How do you expect me to believe that?
Fair point.
But I don't understand why they think that we're going to trust their word. And I don't want to sound like a big-time conspiracy theorist in saying that. But you're like the head of national security, and you're going to tell me that you didn't know what the president was doing?
Okay, that's fair.
Like...
You make a good point.
Like, that is your whole job, sir.
Yeah. Either way, he said he was unable to identify the man as well, the one in the national estimates.
Real convenient.
Yeah. I'm actually going to read some statements from the original declassified CIA papers. They're awesome. They're very interesting. So if you want to follow along, I'm going to read from page 3, just the background with the stupid government jargon. Is that the word?
Look at you go.
Only took 23 episodes. So according to an undated and unsigned memorandum in the Project Mockingbird file, routine review of the daily syndicated columns of Identity 2 and Identity 1 in early years of 1962 developed indications that classified information, sometimes code word material, was being utilized as the basis for a percentage of their columns, so like journal columns. While there are no copies of the columns available in the file, there are memoranda referring to some of the articles in question. Page 4, the operation. The operation began in March of 1962. Great year, you know.
That's when my mom was born.
Ah! It was 10 years before my mom.
It was.
I mean, our mothers are just over 29.
21.
Yeah.
Bowie's like, nah.
Yeah. And the operation was discontinued in mid-June to coincide with the... Okay, this was something I thought was sketchy.
Okay.
So they say it was discontinued in mid-June to coincide with the retirement of the Director of Security.
So...
But it's like, but you said it's a failed operation, and now you're saying it's just because he's retiring?
This is...
That doesn't make sense.
But he doesn't know
But he doesn't know about it!
So, here's my thing. There's a John Mulaney bit where he's talking about a certain someone being president. And he uses the analogy of it being like a horse loose in a hospital. And there's this great part where he's talking about the horse firing the horse catcher. And this is very reminiscent of that.
True.
Where this project is ending.
Because this director is quitting or retiring, but he's not supposed to know about this. Interesting. Maybe the sources were confused because these declassified files just came out within, I think, the last 2 years. Maybe they were written before, and I don't know. It's all very top secret, so we're lucky we got this much of a tidbit. Anyway, so as previously indicated, the telephones of the homes and the jointly shared offices of the newsmen, so Identity 1 and 2, were tapped, which also, isn't it illegal to break and enter? They had to have broken in and entered to tap the...
My question is...
houses and
Are
offices.
there laws for the CIA?
Probably not.
Like,
because if they can do that...
Like, what is the point of espionage laws? You're spying anyway. Why are you going to assume that they're going to follow the rules?
Espionage is a whole other episode.
I'm going to talk about it in my part.
Okay.
But
CIA, answer us that.
Yeah.
DM us.
Send us an email, CIA.
You know our email. You probably know where we live.
Oh god. Please don't check my browser history.
There is no indication in the file or logs to the location of the listening post and equipment. So we don't know like if it was on their desk or like in their bookshelf, in a drawer.
Their lamp.
Which I guess, good for you, don't tell us. Because then everyone would be checking.
That's fair.
Yeah, and apparently it was listening 24 hours a day, every day, for a long time. It says it was not successful in identifying the source of the leak, but it was somehow extremely productive.
That's like
the ending says
experience.
The ending says Mockingbird was not successful, blah, 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 but at the very beginning of this tab, it says Project Mockingbird was extremely productive in developing sources of data. You just wanted to eavesdrop on people.
And you know what? I get that.
Me too.
As a perpetually nosy person, I understand just wanting to be in the loop. I get it, JFK. But were you successful or not?
Still, kind of illegal.
Well, I mean,
does it make it not illegal if the president tells them to do it?
I don't know, because then that leads to presidential corruption again.
Slippery slope, I guess.
I would say JFK can let us know, but I guess he can't really do that.
Speaking of his death, is also a different episode that we could do.
That video fucked me up.
Yeah, why'd they show it in schools?
I got a bone to pick with you, JP Richard. Love you. My social studies teacher in 9th grade. I walked into class. It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I
sit down and he goes, "You guys know what day it is?" We were like 14 and exhausted. We were like, Wednesday. He was like, "It's the anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy." And we were like, "Okay, we're Canadian."
Yeah.
And then he plays the video. No context. And then he pauses it right after he gets shot and goes, "You see what Jackie O is doing? She's collecting his brain matter."
That's what my teacher said too. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? This has been burned into my memory.
I'll never forget it.
I'm seeing it right now as we speak about it. Like, why are you showing minors brain matter?
I'm already suicidal. I don't need to see that happen.
So that's what'll happen after I...
It'll be Jamie collecting my brain.
It would be. I feel like I fixed you. It's okay. How many fingers am I holding up? But yeah.
This just adds on to the layers of useless information I have in my head about John F. Kennedy.
You're welcome. Yeah, so the files contain transcripts from all of these audio logs and stuff. However, apparently there were no official or formal reports according to the transcripts, which, kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with the government, you have to, like, fill out a form to use the washroom. Like, I think maybe somebody burned it, or somebody's lying.
Yeah.
Or those are still classified.
A good chance of either of those things.
The classified part of the declassified files. Yeah, and so as I've said, it was not successful. According to one of the prior sections, the operation was terminated to coincide with the retirement of the Director of Security. No final financial accounting at the time or costs appear in the files. So we don't know how much it costs for them to set this up. All right, kids, turn to page 9, where it says, literally, eyes only. It doesn't say for whose, it just says eyes only. Look, there's the little official declassified sticker. It's just kind of cool.
Jamie's geeking out.
I am, I was just going to say that. And yeah, page 9 and 10 have more details about this. It was apparent that key points were frequently direct quotes from classified reports and summaries. So whoever these Identity 1 and 2, whoever they were getting direct quotes from the leak. Or leaks. It could be multiple, we don't know.
Right.
Yeah, so the Director of Security received requirement from the DCI, and I'll let you know, because I Googled it. The DCI apparently means it could be Detective Chief Inspector or Defense Counter Information.
I'm going to guess that one.
They both sound right. So choose which one you guys want. Fill in the blanks. Yeah, so that guy, he was told to attempt a thorough and appropriate investigation. Illegal wiretapping is what they said yes to. Surveillance was discounted, so like I'm assuming, basically stalking them
Mm-hmm.
or putting up cameras because of high-risk factors. And so it was recommended by the DCI that telephonic monitoring was most productive. And it required limited, discreet checks. So whoever was, I guess they checked it. Breaking into the house. Yeah, microphone's still there. We're good. Yeah, around the clock, telephone monitoring. The activity continued until mid-June. Knowledge of the activity beyond a limited few in the Office of Security included the Executive Director, Comptroller, and the General Counsel. Don't know what a comptroller is, but it's spelled the way it sounds.
Yeah, you're saying it right, but I don't remember what it is.
I don't know either.
Let me Google it.
Please do. The conversations recorded between these two men, they were conducted, and what they would do is they would rewrite raw data left for him in the office. So Identity 1 would write the data from Identity 2. Yes, Kate?
A comptroller is a management-level position responsible for supervising the quality of accounting and financial reporting of an organization.
Boring.
Yeah.
Okay. This might have been the fun part of his job then.
I would assume.
Yeah. It became apparent that Identity 2 acquired most of the sensitive data, and he acquired it in a highly accurate form. The obvious garbling of data occurred in the rewrites by Identity 1. So they would garble. How do you describe garbling? Like mashing, but not...
Yeah, like...
Scrambling so that other people wouldn't be able to tell what they were talking about. Mm-hmm. It also said right below it, it was believed that the garbling, so I guess what they couldn't understand on the phone lines, was a byproduct of Identity 1's regular state of intoxication.
Okay.
And it later became apparent that the garbling was used to disguise the source. See, I knew I didn't just make that up. I was like, oh, I was stupid.
Shut up.
I was right. Anyway, the newsmen's sources were wide-ranging, and much of the information provided to them by these sources never saw print. So, yeah, of course they couldn't publish it.
Yeah.
Because, one, your name is going to be on it in the newspaper or the journal.
Yeah.
The CIA would kill you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would probably immediately identify the leak, would it not?
You would think.
Yeah. In a number of cases, the writers specifically noted that such and such an item could not be used in any form because it could directly be attributed to the source.
Well, there you go.
So that makes sense, but also then why have that information? Why are you getting leaked that information if you can't use it? What's the point? You just want to know? Y'all are just nosy?
It's just being nosy, and that's why I'm not mad about it.
Like, I get it, but guys.
Like, if I had that power,
yeah,
absolutely, I'd be listening into everything. But if you're going to use the CIA to do it,
yeah,
I feel like you should have a purpose, and they clearly don't seem to have one.
No. Monitors of the Mockingbird project were apparently frequently amazed by the sheer bulk of information Identity 2 would acquire in the course of a day. And most of the highly classified information, such as conversations in the CIA, were from Identity 2. So, who is Identity 2?
My hero.
He's just eating popcorn in a corner.
I aspire to be Identity 2. To just really be able to get all of the gossip everywhere.
I mean, go for it. Much of the information was of a partisan political nature. Partisan? Or was that... That's what? Or is it...
Partisan?
I'm reading it like Parmesan. Or was in the nature of seeking a quote-unquote plug.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that really got me.
Identification of sources such as, quote-unquote, my friend over in the Navy, or he works right in their office, quote-unquote, end quote, actually, etc., were frequent sources, supposedly, of the newsmen by name or essential elements which could lead to identification. And it became apparent over time, over an extended period of time, that such sources, they could be identified, but, they terminated the project. Yes, silly goose.
My favorite thing about that is that this is like high-level security like a big deal. And they're like, well, my friend in the Navy.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was just a few pages of this declassified paper, so feel free to read it if you want. I can't read all of it because apparently I'm illiterate.
It's true. It is true.
So, apparently, Identity 2 in mid-March advised Identity 1 that they were under investigation by the Air Force Office of Special Investigations as a result of their accurate overflight stories. So they knew they were being listened to as well.
So what was the point of this?
Exactly.
That's what I don't understand.
So that's why I was so unsuccessful.
I guess, yeah.
Which would also make sense. They were covering up what they were saying and like garbling stuff because they knew they were being listened in on. Which maybe it was because, I don't know if it's true, but my grandma said that in the old days, phone lines could have like interference and you could be like talking to your friend Joe and be like, oh, blah, 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 and then you'd hear someone else speaking and it's neither of you guys. Maybe they were like, they heard the CIA people while they're on the phone, like, did you hear my friend in the Navy? Joe, is that you? It wasn't me. Hang up.
Who do you know in the Navy, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, like, that makes sense if you think about it, especially with, like, older phones needing to be connected manually.
Yeah, true.
It just seems like a really big deal for something that JFK was just like, I'm curious.
True. Because it wasn't like life or death. It was just a leak.
Yeah.
Apparently not leaking important enough information to ruin anything. Because they didn't leak it anywhere besides these two people. However, they did have multiple people technically under the investigation. Like, they had, I believe, like 38 different people, like Identity 37, Identity 38. And apparently a friend of Identity 11 and an Identity of... Jeez! A friend of 11 and Identity 21's.
Okay.
They had a participant in a meeting in the Pentagon office.
Ooh.
So someone was listening in the Pentagon.
But again...
But we don't know who or what. Yeah.
And that
friend 11 was unable to obtain further details.
Why? That's not even surprising that it's someone in the Pentagon. Because it's right now we've got the president, we've got the head of national security, who apparently doesn't know anything about it. We've got like all of these higher ups, so of course there's somebody in the Pentagon involved.
And I'll leave it off with at the time in Project Mockingbird, it was suggested that they initiate no further investigative actions.
Of course it was.
So they really were just being nosy. Wasn't successful. 3 months of listening in, and
I've been more successful looking through shit on my ex's phone.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been able to find out more with somebody's last name and being able to find their Instagram, their Facebook, their Twitter from 2012.
Yeah.
Like, I know where you went to high school.
Exactly.
Like, come on, guys. Anyway, that's what I got for Project Mockingbird.
See, that's interesting to me because it was so...
It could also be a lie. They could have found stuff, just didn't say anything.
Absolutely. How are we supposed to trust them?
Because we don't know who it was about.
No.
It was Identity 1 and 2.
And Identity 2 is my new hero.
Identity 1 and 2. You and me.
Oh my god. Can we get matching shirts?
Like thing 1, thing 2.
Yeah, so that's Project Mockingbird. Surprisingly, though, the other Mockingbird situation that we found, or that Jamie found, I'm not going to pretend that I had a part in this, ended up being significantly more interesting.
I know.
And it's not confirmed that it was a real thing.
It was.
It was. I don't know. It's just a very weird situation. So, although Project Mockingbird was considered unsuccessful and just weird all around, Operation Mockingbird actually ended up being a very weirdly intense situation that has not been confirmed by the CIA, not been confirmed by the US government, but there's enough reason to believe that it was an actual project or an actual operation. So before there was Project Mockingbird, there was Operation Mockingbird. So Operation Mockingbird began in the early years of the Cold War. So for those of you who don't know, the Cold War went from March of 1947 to December of 1991. I knew it was long, but I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Operation Mockingbird started in the late 1940s, pretty much. So, long story short, in 1948, a man named Frank Wisner became director of what was then called the Office of Special Projects, which would eventually become the espionage and counterintelligence branch of the CIA.
Okay.
Which, isn't that all of it?
I don't know much, but I want to say yes.
Like, I'm kidding, but also...
Yes?
Isn't that all that the CIA does? Feels like it is.
They probably wouldn't admit to anything else.
No, of course not. So, later that same year, so later in 1948, Frank Wisner developed what he called Operation Mockingbird. And in doing this, he recruited a man named Philip Graham of the Washington Post, along with a group of former military intelligence officers who would later be known as the Wisner Gang, because basically they were so far up his ass they'd do whatever he wanted. And they formed this operation, which was...
Operation Blue Jay.
which was focused on influencing U.S. media. So in a very similar manner to being nosy,
yeah,
they took it upon themselves to figure out what was being published, what was being said about the Cold War, what was being said about America in America, and they wanted to get a hold on the press, and they wanted to be in control of what was being said about them and about how America was doing in terms of the Cold War situation, which sounds like somebody's full of themselves, if you ask me, but it is America, so...
I love America!
So one of the most important journalists that was involved in this was a man named Joseph Alsop. So Joseph and his brother Stuart Alsop and another guy were part of... another guy, irrelevant. Were part of the Wisner Gang, which was also known as the Georgetown Set. So the set of guys. But I prefer Wisner Gang because it sounds like a group of little gangsters. Even though it was just journalists and a guy from the CIA.
Cool.
So what they wanted to do was basically work from the inside and control what the media was publishing about the U.S. and about communism in general. So it was basically a full-scale propaganda ring.
Which...
Are we surprised?
No.
Yeah.
But this also feels like very reminiscent of everybody saying it now that the media is being controlled, which kind of always, as you can see, they've been doing it for years.
Literally always. As long as there has been a government in control of something, there has been some form of control over what media we consume.
Yeah.
And I think people, like, that's a really good point to bring up, James. Like, I think people nowadays are focused on, like, what ads we get on, like, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, and, like, commercials that are on the radio.
You're saying Fox News, fake news, like...
But they also forget that media is not just social media. It's newspapers, it's magazines, it's these interviews that we're seeing, like...
It's also stuff that we learned in school. The government and stuff chooses.
Exactly.
This is your curriculum. This is what you're taught as you grow up.
Exactly. And
so we're being groomed to think a certain way since we're born.
And it's people...
There's no free will.
Jesus Christ. But it's people like this in situations like Operation Mockingbird that give merit to those ideas that, yeah, the media is being controlled, but it always has been. And it's not always a malicious way, but propaganda isn't just something that came out of Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
It's not something that is inherently like an evil quality. It's just persuasion.
Yeah.
And
it's also usually tailored to each country.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
If you're in America, you're going to learn mostly about American news. If you're in, Belgium, you're going to mostly know about Belgian news. So it's quite uncommon to be like, oh yeah, I'm in Japan, but I'm learning solely about Parisian news. It's like...
Well, I mean, look at the state of the world as it is right now. Us as Canadians, we're consuming Canadian media. Canadian politics, and the Canadian perspective on, let's say, the Russia-Ukraine issues that are happening. We're not hearing what's coming from the Russian government. We're not hearing what they're saying to their people.
And it's different.
And it's entirely different.
Yeah.
That's just the reality. So it's happening everywhere. It's always happened in any sort of political situation.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cold War was no different.
Mm-mm.
So these journalists, under the control of Operation Mockingbird, had over 300 different newspapers that they were working with. So there were journalists from the New York Herald Tribune, Newsweek, the New York Times, Time Magazine, the Washington Post, the New York Daily Mirror. There were a bunch of people from the Chicago Daily News, Miami News, the New York Herald Tribune again, Washington Star, like the Chattanooga Times. Because who doesn't love Chattanooga?
I don't even know what that is. Sorry.
But it's these small-scale newspapers, like the Chattanooga Times.
Right.
It's these large-scale newspapers, like the Washington Post, like the New York Times. It's all over the country, trying to, I guess, have information from the government sort of squeezed into the things that they're writing,
mm-hmm.
and being heavily influenced by Frank Wisner and by the counterintelligence branch of the CIA,
mm-hmm.
to give the American perspective on the Cold War and on communism in general. So what Wisner and the CIA ended up doing was providing these journalists from all of these different newspapers around the US with classified information to help with their publishings.
Mm.
So letting them know what was going on in the Soviet Union, what was going on from the American troops, what was going on in terms of financial situations, war situations, like all of these different perspectives on the Cold War, and why it's not America's fault, why America is doing their very best, and why everyone should believe and trust wholeheartedly that an anti-communistic America is the way to go. And that's not inherently a bad message to send.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every government is going to have their own beliefs. But I think sneaking it into media and hoping that people are going to believe it, pick up on it, is kind of a shady way to do it.
Yeah.
But they were constantly looking for ways to warn Americans against communism, which was being promoted by the Soviets. If you look at communist Russia,
mm-hmm.
like, it was a very, very different situation in the Soviet Union than it was in America.
Oh, but America is so much better with our consumerism and capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Different tangent.
Yes. We're not saying that the Soviet Union was all peachy and great and everyone should be like that, because that was bullshit. But not the point. Oh, to give an example of Wisner really shoving that narrative down the American people's throat,
mm-hmm.
it's not just through news sources
mm-hmm.
and through the press that they were doing this. So Wisner ended up actually funding a large portion of the Hollywood production of George Orwell's Animal Farm.
Oh, so, I know that.
Yeah, so for those of you who might not know what Animal Farm is, congratulations on having a life. So Animal Farm was a story written in 1945, or published in 1945, basically about these farm animals who rise up against the farmer to create a free, equal, and happy society for all of the animals on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take an English major to see the meaning behind that.
Yeah.
Especially with it being published in 1945.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. So Wisner was really focused on pushing this narrative and getting it out in all forms of media.
Mm-hmm.
So by the 1950s, there were around 3,000, give or take, around 3,000 CIA employees who were engaged in these propaganda efforts against communism. So this involved restricting reports about certain events, changing stories to fit an American narrative, so molding things into the Soviet Union being extra bad because of this and because they're not doing it the American way. And I think that's what bothers me about this. Is like, was the Soviet Union pretty shit? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously the Cold War was happening for a reason. Like, I'm not discrediting that.
Yep.
But lay it all out. Don't say that it's bad because it's un-American.
Yeah.
And because they're doing it differently than America would do.
That's very flawed.
It's incredibly flawed, and that's where the propaganda is coming from. It's a biased interpretation.
And there's a lot of war propaganda from every single war.
Oh my god.
Like the posters and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But like this is exactly where it's coming from, and it's going above and beyond, because when you think propaganda, you think exactly that. You think of the war posters. Most people think of like Nazi propaganda. But it's not just that. It's the stories being cut in half so you don't get all the details. Mm-hmm. It's fitting that American narrative. It's
because in history there always has to be like the good and the bad guys, mm-hmm. which is not usually the case. And something that I'd heard a while ago, it was like history is written by the winners of every war, mm-hmm. which is usually, unfortunately, North American. Mm-hmm. Like so, a lot of non-Americans,
yeah,
a lot of non-North American countries have had like their history and their culture kind of stifled, mm-hmm. because Absolutely. They're like, okay, you say this happened, but this is what happened, mm-hmm. which is literally what happened with like all indigenous like mm-hmm. clans and stuff. And now we're just finally in the past 10 years recognizing their truth and being mm-hmm. like, okay, so we did do that to you,
exactly.
like, oh, we did put you guys in camps, mm-hmm. like, and they're just now getting reconciliation. Mm-hmm. Sorry, my tangent.
But no, that's exactly right. Like, and a lot of that interaction with indigenous cultures actually fits into this quite well, mm-hmm. too, because they're stomping over their own people,
yeah,
in order to get this propaganda out. Mm-hmm. So you're glossing over the issues that are happening in America. Look at America during the time of the Cold War and everything else that was happening in the world from 1947 to 1991. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a significant amount of issues going on there.
Yeah, it wasn't all peachy keen.
No, not even close. So you've got all of that stuff happening that you're glossing over and not letting these people publish in their newspapers, not letting movies come out, not letting these stories be told in order to make yourselves look better so you can shit on another place. Mm-hmm. Just saying. It's not great. So this sort of propaganda created by Operation Mockingbird would end up going on until 1973, when the U.S. Senate Watergate Committee uncovered details about Operation Mockingbird, working with the American press. So mm-hmm. they were basically caught red-handed, selling this classified information to the press.
Oop.
Yeah, exactly. You stupid enough to get caught? Really?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be good at this. What ended up happening was this journalist for the New York Times, who was clearly very brave, ended up publishing an article in 1974, which went further into the scandal and acknowledged the surveillance abuses that were happening, the spying on anti-war activists, which ends up tying quite nicely into Project Mockingbird. So that idea of surveillance and spying on people who you might not agree with or who you just want extra details on. This is very common. Obviously, this is the espionage part of the CIA. Mm-hmm. And this happens for a variety of reasons and has since the founding of the CIA. Mm-hmm. But the fact that this is happening constantly just shows like an insane abuse of power that's happening.
Yeah.
I digress before I go on an extra tangent there.
Yes.
But all of this publication in the New York Times ended up leading to a congressional inquiry via this thing called the Church Committee. So in 1976, the Church Committee ended up publishing a report that confirmed the findings from this New York Times article and from the U.S. Senate Watergate Committee, confirming that there were these cultivated relationships between the CIA and private institutions like the press, who are privately funded. The reason we don't know where this funding is coming from is because it's coming from right under our noses. Like, it's right there. So the Church...
Firing the horse catcher.
Exactly. It's the horse firing the horse catcher all over again. So the Church Committee found up to 50 journalists at this point who were spreading propaganda that was paid for by the CIA. So even after all this time, we've gone from 1948 to now 1976. There's still at least 50 people who are doing this on a consistent basis. Because you have to realize, too, it's not like journals are published or newspapers are published like once a month. They're published daily.
Yeah.
Things like the Washington Post, the New York Times, like even the Chattanooga News. There's a need for news to be out there. Mm-hmm. And especially when you get into 1976, when there's more of a interest in watching television, watching the news together as a family. Your information starts from the newspaper sources and spreads from there. So this propaganda has been being spread like wildfire for like 30 some years, or just about 30 years.
I don't even know the truth anymore.
Oh, exactly. But the thing that's interesting about this is that further investigation by the church committee led to a mention of a Project Mockingbird, but never any official confirmation of Operation Mockingbird. So they were like, oops, yeah, we were listening, but for other reasons. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You're crazy.
Yeah. So there's never been any official confirmation that Operation Mockingbird was a success or a failure. That it ever stopped. Oh. Yeah. I just watched that hit Jamie. That was great. Or that anything ever came out of it. Like anything positive ever came from it.
Probably not.
No.
We're not allowed to know.
Exactly. That was the rabbit hole that we ended up diving down.
I was hoping Kate would like this because it's history.
Yeah.
Are you done, by the way? Did you have anything else?
Okay. No, I'm good. Yeah.
Just wanted to check.
That is our deep dive for the week.
Yeah. Sorry if mine was kind of just a bunch of rambles. I find government jargon so hard to read.
Sorry if mine was just history and opinion. Welcome to Creeps and Coffee.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was the whole time. You were talking about history and I was not making sense.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
And the cat was screaming.
Yeah. But no, I was surprised. I knew that I would be interested in this, but I didn't know necessarily how cool I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. When I was picking it out, I was like, this has history. It's old. Caitlin will like it.
I like that is the only criteria. And you know what? It's fair.
It's a good criteria.
It's a great criteria to have.
Yeah.
Join us next week as we explore the Tudor dynasty.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, dear God.
Hey, Siri.
No.
Okay.
Well, thank you for joining us this week. If you have any theories on wiretapping or any sort of CIA involvement that you're interested in, we would love to hear it.
Yeah. And if you guys feel like being an extra supporter, go check out the YouTube channel. You don't even have to watch the video or listen again to any of the episodes.
No.
Maybe just pretend to play through it so we get another view.
That'd be great.
Because I think in total with Anchor, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, we're at like over 800 plays. Which is very exciting to me.
That's terrifying.
And we're almost at our 1-year anniversary.
Oh my God.
Because we started, I think, May 27th.
Oh my God.
2021. So if you have any ideas on what we should do for our 1-year anniversary, also let us know.
Please do, yeah. As always, if you would like to connect with us further, you can check us out on Instagram at Creeps and Coffee, on Twitter at Creeps and Coffee. I still can't get the same username on both, and I'm furious about it.
Yeah.
Like Jamie said, you can check out our YouTube page, or if you would like to help support the show, you can also check out our Buy Me a Coffee page and help fuel our caffeine-induced psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, friends.
Be safe. Don't do drugs. If you do them safely.
And don't say anything you wouldn't want JFK to hear. Bye.
Creeps and Coffee is produced and edited by us, Kate and Jane.
Our theme music is Stuck in a Hole by Dated.
For more information on where to find them, check out the link in our show notes. And to connect with us, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Creeps and Coffee.